Decision to release terrorist suspects from Guantanamo Bay. Fox News contributor Stephen Hayes blasted the idea after one detainee returned to work in Yemen with al-Qaeda.
There was a sort of aggressive, breathtaking dishonesty. The president said that really the United States has only released low-level individuals. Again, unequivocally false. So what the president did there is lie about this and lie repeatedly.
With me now, former Bush State Department senior advisor Christian Whiton. Christian, thanks for joining us. Did the president prioritize closing Guantanamo Bay over the security of the U.S.?
This is a key part of liberal orthodoxy that we saw going back to the 2008 campaign trail. Ironically, it's shared not just by liberal Democrats, but also by the gentleman you just had on the air, libertarian Ron Paul, his brother, his son running for president. This is a view that the United States is a key driver of Islamism, of jihadism. It was the presence of U.S. troops in Saudi Arabia, supposedly, that caused bin Laden to do what he did. That our actions, including holding people in Gitmo instead of treating them like liquor store bandits and trying them in courts here in the United States, somehow drives Islamism. You know, if you step back and look at ISIS, if you look at Paris, if you look at San Bernardino, that had nothing to do with U.S. foreign policy. It had nothing to do with our support for Israel. It had everything to do with the jihadist philosophy. But Obama and people like the Paul family don't seem to get that.
I don't know if it's not getting it or just wanting to put it in context, that is to say, so we know how to fight it better, which is how I like to take those comments, but your point is well taken on this end. I want to ask you, moving around the globe, to focus on Russia, because the Secretary of State, John Kerry, just announced he is accepting Russia's long-standing demand that the Syrian president, Assad, his future be determined by his own people.
The United States and our partners are not seeking so-called regime change, as it is known, in Syria. What we have said is that we don't believe that Assad himself has the ability to be able to lead the future Syria, but we didn't, we focus today not on our differences about what can or can be done immediately about Assad. We focused on a process.
So let me ask you, Christian, I mean, this is an about-face. There's no other way to say it. This is changing the U.S.'s policy. Why?
It's seriously undercutting his own president. His president was the one who said Assad must go. He said it very early, even though he had no plan to push Assad aside. A lot of people in Washington seem to assume Assad would just collapse. Why is Kerry doing it? He's great at preemptive capitulation. If you look at the Iran deal, he gives and gives and gives and then hopefully gets something in return. What is he getting from Russia in return for this? Are they going to make sure that there's a sort of just and clear process of an election in Syria where we're going to choose between Assad and another Alawite? This also, incidentally, will incense our Arab partners who are key to ever dislodging ISIS from Syria if we want that to occur without an outright U.S. invasion. So it's really unclear what Kerry is doing other than sort of giving away concessions and hoping for the best.
Christian, what is the idea that, for example, during World War II, many had to side with Stalin to get Hitler out? I have heard comparisons made to more or less backing Assad with that illusion.
Yep, that was understandable. We cooperated with one of the most evil men on the planet to get rid of one of the other most evil men. Where are Putin's 100 divisions is what I want to know. What he has in Syria now, what the Russians have in Syria, is really the limit of their expeditionary capability. When you take away the nukes from the equation with Russia, they really don't have a great military, especially when it's not focused in Eastern Europe. If you have to put an army in the field, the Russians really can't do that. They're going to do what they've done so far, which is to defend Assad. But we're making a deal with the devil, but we're not getting the things we got in return in World War II, which also came with a lot of downside, including the occupation of Eastern Europe, but not getting any of the upside.
I hear what you're saying, Christian. Thank you so much. Christian Whiton,
thank you,
joining me there, former Bush State Department senior advisor.